Initially, I wasn't that impressed with the offensive line class, especially after the class we had in 2021. I thought this one was going to be a real letdown. Looking at some of the prospects here, like, I really believe if we have a few standout seasons here and there, this could be a very good offensive line class, especially at the tackle position. And I'm going to give you all the guys I have currently looked over. If you don't see your guy on the list, let me know in the comment section below. Just means I haven't looked at him yet. And yeah, what's crackalacking? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know so. And we're going to start with the tackle class being Evan Neal at number 1. And initially with him, I had him listed as a guard. Apparently, he plays right tackle, might make the move to left tackle this year. I mean, for his size, because this dude's 6'7", he's 360, it almost feels like he has to be a guard, right? But, like, he's got some good athleticism given his size, but he's stupid strong. We all know the bread and butter to him is his strength. He just ragdolled guys in the SEC at right tackle, especially in the run game. It'll be interesting to see what the move is. If he looks good at left tackle, man, I think or even if he has another dominant year, right? I think we keep this guy on the outside, at least give him a shot. Worst case scenario, you're getting a very good guard. And then I have Jackson Kirkland, man, a guy not getting a lot of buzz. He is sub 300, but he's like 295, 6'7". He could fill out real easy. He moved to left tackle last season. Now that what was it? Trey Adams that used to be there, but he moved to left tackle last year. Regardless, after playing 2 seasons, I believe, at right tackle, he accumulated like over 1,600 snaps at right tackle. But made the move last year. Only allowed 2 pressures on 124 true passes, I believe. Somewhere along those lines. Either one way or another, this guy was a good, very well probably could have came out of this past class if the Pac-12, didn't kind of like crap the bed and kind of ruined it for everybody. I mean, that's why we saw guys opt out like Levi Wuzariki, Joe Tryon, Rike, and Joe Tryon. Those guys decided to opt out. And then they found out the season was happening. They were like, okay, it's too late. I already got an agent. We're not going to come back to play, unfortunately. And a lot of these guys that did decide to come and play, you're not putting enough tape out there to really help your case. So now they're coming back for another year. I really like Kirkland, man. I really like him a lot. Kenyon Green is another one making the move to left tackle after playing, in this instance, guard. He took a big step in pass protection last year. He is a plus athlete. I really honestly believe he can succeed there on the outside. Again, if it doesn't work out at tackle, he is going to be a first-round worthy guard, in my opinion. And then, is it a Jamari Sailor? Man, I'm really terrible with names. I'm going to get these guys down over the summer, though. Don't worry about it. Former 4-star recruit. He has literally played everywhere on the offensive line. He has snaps at every position there. But last year played a little bit of left tackle. He boasted one of the best win rates in all the SEC at tackle, whether it was the right or left side. So he's a guy, put it on your radar, man. Like, you want to look for these guys with consistency, and more so than not, win rate, man. Win rate is huge. And then I got Charles Cross. He's like a fringe first rounder for me. I mean, he had his struggles. They moved more towards, they moved directly into the air raid offense there at Mississippi State under Mike Leach. And it was kind of a so-so with him. He allowed 44 pressures, which is a ton, 6 sacks in 2020. To be fair, they are running a lot of passing snaps. So he will be one of the most pass-tested blockers in this class when it's all said and done. But I really think we saw a lot of low points, but we saw the epitome of what he can be, the peak of his ability against Alabama. He literally shut down Alabama, or at least his side. For the rest of the line, not so much. But honestly, if he could just be consistent, it could go a long, long way. And then next up here, Zion Nelson at a baby. Man, I gotta love my Hurricanes. Took a big step forward in his second season as a starter. the guy's got plus athleticism. He's kind of a fringe first rounder in his own regard. His only real struggle came last year against the duo there at Duke, Chris Rumpf and Victor Dimukeje. Again, just another year of like consistency and maybe some elite play against like better competition like Clemson. I'm trying to think of other like vicious pass rushers currently in the ACC, and really none's coming to mind. Oh well. Oh well. Oh man, I don't even know if he will be tested, because like even going like looking at my edges, guys that are like, there's not a lot of good ace like top round, like at least coming out in this next class in terms of the ACC talent. There isn't like a top edge. Like Xavier Thomas might be it. Oh, maybe he won't be tested next year. Well, that sucks. Still, I like the guy's athleticism. Abraham Lucas, he's a 6-year senior, I believe. Yeah, I mean the shortened year last year didn't help him. He's either a 5-year senior or a 6th-year senior, but one of the most tested protectors in this class. Shortened season again cost him to return. He has over 2,200 snaps there at right tackle. Huge size, big boy, 6'7", 220 or 328. When he does get beat, it's typically because he's out leveraged by quicker pass rushers. There we go. I mean, that's kind of like the Achilles heel. It's like, oh man, this guy's a giant. He's huge. He's 6'7". It's easy to get under your pad level. Just get under your pads at that. I think at the very least, this cat's going to be a surefire day 2 tackle at the very least. Could maybe sneak into the first round. Again, really depends how the play is for everyone else. Like I said, guys like Nelson, Cross, they're kind of fringe first rounders. Kind of depends on their play this year. I also have Rasheed Walker here. A lot of people already peg him as a first rounder. I get why, man. Like, I feel like I think he's a better prospect than Jalen Mayfield. I was going to make the Jalen Mayfield comparison, but I think he's better than Jalen Mayfield in terms of athleticism and just his athletic profile in general for the tackle position. It's just, I need to see a bigger leap of development. Like, he's steadily been getting better, but like whenever he's tested, right, against like when he's facing like NFL talent, like Ohio State, rocked. He faced Chancey Golston last year, rocked. Owen Carney, who's going to be an edge in this class, rocked. Like, I need to see him come to play against the better competition. That's what I really need to see. I need him to realize that potential in those big games. And he's going to see a lot of them. There's a lot of good Big Ten edge rushers in this class. And then Wanya Morris, going to Oklahoma, former 5-star recruit. He did see some improvements last year, but I really saw nothing like exceptional, nothing special. Maybe the change in scenery kind of will help him realize that upside, but a lot of people, they're kind of on the Morris boat. I don't know. I really need, like, it needs to be an exceptional year for him to even like consider him in the first round, let alone day 2 for me. We'll see. He'll be replacing Adrian Ely. So the Thayer Mumford, man, super senior. He is a 6-year senior, in fact. Went from, like, he was consistent for consecutive years, and then just, he was elite last year, dude. He was shut down. I remember when I first started evaluating him for the 2020 draft, the one with Joe Burrow and such, I was constantly saying, this guy's a guard convert, man. I just don't think he moves well enough to keep on the outside. But like his play last season, it wasn't a big factor. You know, he faced a lot of quality pass rushers in 2020. He will again this year. Allowed no sacks or hits in 2020. If he does that again, I don't think you can make an argument for not keeping him at tackle. I still do question his athleticism overall, but man, like, again, just that solid play. He is good. At the very least, he's going to be a very good guard if it doesn't work out at tackle. But I'd say give this guy a shot at tackle for real. And then moving on to the next guys on the list, I got Darian Kinyard out of Kentucky. This guy's likely moving to guards. He plays tackle in a zone run heavy offense there at Kentucky. He was actually one of the better zone blocking tackles last season. I just really think a move to guard is going to happen. 6'5", 347. He's just going to end up being a guard. So, yeah. And then I have Daniel Falele out of Minnesota. He's a big boy too, man. This cat is a big boy as well. Saw 6'9", 400 pounds, if you didn't know. Saw big strides as a pass protector in 2019. Ended up not playing in 2020, but he's a mammoth. He did have his struggles against, I would say, quicker, savvier pass rushers. And it's not like you think 6'9", 400, dominant, running over guys. Not really. He's just a guy that doesn't give up ground. Like, that's just kind of was his game in 2019. I just want to see how much further he develops. He could be a kind of a bit of a sleeper in this class, especially for that size, man. It's very unique. Jack Snyder, another super senior, 6-year senior here. 4-year starter, going to be a 5th-year starter by the time of the draft. But he's been solid. Went to, just was absolutely shut down last year. But again, he's playing lesser competition there at San Jose State. Decent athleticism. I thought I saw him play better body control because ironically, I actually watched quite a bit of San Jose State offense last year because I was curious about guys like Tyler Nevins, and I was a big Trey Walker mark too. It really sucked that he tested out terribly at his pro day, man, and it sucked he couldn't transfer. I could get into that right now. I think he kind of got screwed by the process. Poor Trey Walker. But, yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'm curious about the competition. Senior Bowl might be huge for a cat like that, but he's going to be an older prospect, so we'll see. Nicholas Petit Ferrer. Again, I'll get these names down once before the season starts, when we come around to this list again. But former 5-star recruit, became a starter just last year at right tackle. He looked really good, and then he ran into the buzzsaw known as the Alabama Crimson Tide. He allowed 3 hits on Justin Fields. If you don't remember, Justin Fields was not at 100% going into that game. Best believe he didn't leave that game at 100. But yeah, man, he could be a hot riser. He just needs to, I want to see him look better against good competition, man. Like I said, man, it came in against Bama and just got his butt handed to him. Tyler Vrabel out of Boston College. Yeah, Vrabel, that sounds familiar? Yeah, it does. And you would be correct. Another guy that could see a big jump in his draft stock with another just consistent year. Last year, he was nearly shut down. Of course, after their opener, because Duke, I don't know what it is about Duke and Chris Rumpf, Victor Dimukeje, but they had their way with a lot of guys last year, a lot of quality talent. But yeah, after that kind of whiff of a season opener, he was impossible to get around. Eric Swinson out of Oklahoma. I'm kind of interested about him, man. I'm interested. I think this is a cat that could be another hot riser coming into the draft. I'm be intrigued if they move him to the right side with Morris coming in. We'll see, but he has been solid for Oklahoma. Jordan McFadden out of Clemson. He was consistent for the most part. This was last season. It was kind of his first taste at starting. But again, struggled against the big competition. Pittsburgh, Miami, Ohio State. So gonna need to see a big step up from him. Tyler Beach out of Wisconsin. You're not straight heads up. You're not gonna hear me talk about Logan Brown because the sample size is literally too small from Logan Brown. Big reason why is because our boy Tyler Beach keeping that dude on the bench Just going to say that. Dude played very good at right tackle last season. And I think I don't know if, I think it should speak volumes that he's able to keep a 5-star recruit on the bench. So, again, if that play continues this year, man, we could be talking about him kind of like Cole Van Lannon. Dylan Parham out of Memphis played guard in 2018 and 2019, but when he did move to left tackle in 2020 and just railroaded lesser competition. And I think what the cherry on top was he played probably the greatest competition he faced last year was Cincinnati, and he played them very well. I'm talking guys like Ponder, Myjon Sanders, that dude's going to be like a day 2, maybe fringe first rounder. I'm just going to say that. Played those guys well, so pretty impressive. Kind of worried about the size, though. He's 6'3", 285, so we'll see. And then I got Nick, what was it, Boyker? I don't know. I'm not high on this cat. I've seen him in some first-round mocks. Maybe I'll go watch more over the summer. I just don't kind of see what makes him first round for some people. If I'm being honest, like his play was all over the place last year. A couple of guys that didn't make the top 20 for me. Austin Douglas, Deasless, I don't know, the LSU tackle. Dude's been very consistent. It's just I'm kind of curious about the size. He's like 6'6", 331. I don't know. We'll see. Nothing really impressive about him, at least to me. Jake Fuzzak out of Buffalo. Only reason I actually even saw this cat was because of Buffalo's tackle last year. Well, I guess that went in this past draft. Checking him out. Because this guy, quality as well, but more of a fringe, like, day 3 guy. In that respect. A guy I didn't include him in my rankings just because the sample size was too small was obviously Logan Brown out of Wisconsin, but also Kellen Dysert out of Arizona State. He's a former Texas A&M recruit. Just didn't see a lot of playing time there at Texas A&M, and then he went to Arizona State last year. Kind of dominated. Granted, again, small sample size. They played like 4 or 5 games. So I think he's going to be a super senior as well, like a 5th or 6th year senior. So we'll see. But he definitely intrigued me. Let's go to the interior offensive line. Start with Tyler Linderbaum. He's my only first rounder. I love Tyler Linderbaum. He was originally a defensive lineman. In 2019 was his first taste of like playing center at the collegiate level. And he was among the best, if not the best. No one on the offensive interior can really hold a candle to this cat's athleticism. A lot of people are going to say, man, he needs to put on size, 6'3", 289. You typically want those guys to get over that 300-pound threshold. But, man, I'm totally cool. Like, just how dominant he has been. He has only allowed 1 sack and 12 pressures through 2 seasons. I don't think he'll have a problem breaking that 300, and I think we'll see another year of elite play. And then I got Akem Ikwadnu. I'm going to call him Icky because that's actually his nickname. This dude's a smart guy, first of all. I saw a couple of interviews with him. He's like a student athlete as well, like legit academically. Like I was pretty impressed doing my little deep dive on him. Bruce Feldman compares his athleticism, short area quickness, essentially just his explosiveness to Mekhi Becton, but for the interior. He has been playing a majority of his snaps at left tackle, but he's likely a guard in the NFL. Likely a guard. He's one of the best run blockers in the ACC. Where he struggles, though, is when having to deal with just the quickness of the outside. So just expect this guy to move to the interior. Then I got Jarrett Patterson out of Notre Dame. Has allowed no sacks over the last 2 seasons at center. Play strength and run blocking improved tremendously in 2020. But it'll be interesting. Apparently, there could be a good chance that he plays left tackle, apparently, next season. Because, I mean, keep in mind, Notre Dame, they literally lost their whole, starting offensive line outside of Patterson. They lost Kramer, Eichenberg, Banks, Hainsley, literally 4 starters. So it'll be interesting to see where they put Patterson. And then I got Zion Johnson, dude. The more I look at this guy, the more I actually really love him. If he puts up, like, because currently he's playing left tackle at Boston College, and he's actually a pretty darn good athlete. That's why they put him on the outside there. If he puts up another banger year, I might say screw it. Put this guy at tackle. Keep him in tackle. Give him a shot at tackle in the NFL. Because, like, it's going to be funny. Because his really only down game last year came against Duke. Like, I don't know what it was about this Duke offensive line, dude. Like, Chris Rumpf and Victor Dimukeje just had, like, the butts of, like, every offensive line they encountered. That's just wild to me. But they did play. His season was cut, I think, a little short this year. But man, I'm very eager to watch him. That Boston College offensive line is kind of really good. Doug Kramer out of Illinois. Probably a lot of people don't know him. This guy, 6'2", 300. So I wouldn't mind if you put on an extra 10 pounds. But he plays in a very zone-heavy blocking scheme there at Illinois. I know a lot of us, should remember Kendrick Green. He made that big leap onto a lot of guys' boards. Ended up going in the 3rd round. I think Kramer could be the same way. The only reason that Green actually played at center at all was because Kramer got hurt. Last year was kind of a funky year because he also dealt with the Rona. So, like, for me, last year was kind of a throwaway year for him. But the prior 2 seasons, he only allowed 1 sack, 12 pressures. They're starting for center. In 2019, he led all centers, I think actually all offensive linemen, with 14 big-time run blocks. So, yeah, keep your eye on this guy. He is very good at getting to that second level and just stringing it off like combo blocks. I'm very, very excited about him. And I actually get to another guy that I'm very excited about as well that's very good at laying out, getting to that second level and just dominating. Then we're going to go Justin Schaffer out of Georgia, 5th-year senior. Got his first taste of starting last season after kind of being just a rotation guy the past 2 seasons. And you know what? Held his freaking own against SEC competition. He does it again this year. I think it warrants a day 2 pick at the very least. Alec Lindstrom. I know a lot of people really like Alec Lindstrom, and I'm probably going to get a lot of crap for having him this slow, but like, he's a great pass blocking center, but again, another guy that's sub 300. But what is different about him compared to guys like Linderbaum, Kramer, who are kind of maybe undersized centers, is they're good at the run game. Like, Lindstrom is not a good run blocker, man. He really struggled against powerful fronts like Clemson and Pittsburgh last season. Like, he's technically sound, and I mean, you could probably say it runs in the family, being the brother of Chris, but I'm just not going to be as high on him as probably everyone else, at least for now. And then Emil Ekiyor Jr. out of Alabama. He was a first-time starter last season and was very good. Did falter during the playoffs a bit, but I don't think it takes away for what he accomplished in his first year as a starter. Not very quick, but definitely one of the most powerful blockers in all of college football. Keep an eye on that cat. Next on the list, Josh Sills out of Oklahoma State. He is a former grad transfer from West Virginia, moving to Oklahoma State there in 2019. I get 2020 for the 2020 season, but he is going to be a super senior, so 6-year senior there. But he's played all over the offensive line. Got experience almost at every position. Likely guard will be his spot. However, his best play did come at right tackle, especially down the stretch against teams like Baylor, Miami, TCU, Texas A&M, or Texas Tech, excuse me, even Oklahoma. But His worst games came on the left side, allowing 6 pressures and 3 sacks to Kansas State and Texas. So I don't know. Maybe he's just a right tackle. Maybe that's where he's comfortable on the right side. I think at the very least, you're getting a guy that's a very good guard. I was kind of mentioning him earlier with Kramer. Like he is very, very good at getting to the second level and just laying out these combo blocks. And much like Tevin Jenkins last year, he was just ragdolling guys left and right. But I mean, with an older guy, you know, he's basically a man among boys there in college football. But I'm a big fan of his game. Bit older, but I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on this guy early day 3. Cade Mays, man, almost didn't even crack the top 10. I'm not going to lie to y'all. This is literally just based on how he played down the stretch and his upside. That's the only reason he made the top 10. Like, he has the physical build and the tools. I'm just waiting for this guy to break out, show some consistency. Like, he opened the season rough versus Mizzou and Georgia, allowing 6 pressures, 2 sacks, but he started to look good down the stretch, probably during like the last 3 or 4 games. I just want to see it for a whole season. Show me some consistency, Mays. Freaking A. And I'm just going to rattle off some of the guys that missed the cut here. There's actually quite a few of them. I got Ed Ingram out of LSU. Solid player over the last 3 years, but he does look like he looked outmatched at times against some of the best defensive linemen in there in the SEC, mainly South Carolina, Alabama, Texas A&M were some pretty bad games for him, but overall, very solid, worth a day 3, in my opinion. Osiris Torrance, very interesting prospect here. Former 3-star recruit. He was actually highly recruited by Georgia, ended up going to Louisiana so he can start early. Over the last 2 seasons, he has over 700 snaps at both guard spots. Greatly improved as a pass protector in 2020. And you know what? Competition's kind of a concern. Like the best competition he faced last season was Iowa State, but he actually did a pretty darn good job in that game. So a guy to keep your eye on. Grant Gibson at NC State. So y'all, if you're not new to the channel, you know I had this thing about undersized like centers that are probably day 3 guys, and Gibson's kind of my Nick Harris / Drake Jackson type of I guess love child, man. I love these undersized zone only centers. Gibson, he switched from D-line to center in 2018, became a starter in 2019. He's just been a solid center with over 550 zone blocking snaps over the last 2 seasons. I wouldn't mind taking him somewhere on day 3. Jordan Meredith out of Western Kentucky, he's got some good play to him, but again, he's kind of like barely at that 300. Again, you're facing lesser competition. Kane Madden out of Marshall, 6-year senior, super senior, but he's been a great pass protector for Marshall at right guard. So you could say the same thing about next guy on my list, probably the oldest prospect in this class, James Empey. Man, I loved James Empey, but man, he's gonna be a very old prospect. He did go on a mission trip being there at BYU. Great against the run, and he was been stellar in the passing game. But again, there at BYU, you're not facing the best level of competition. Probably just a depth piece in the NFL. I got a few other guys. Really, they're not that notable. Paul Granton at UCLA, Colin Newell at Iowa State, and Derek Cassetter, who I thought was actually going to come out last year. I think he's actually a super senior, 6-year senior as well. All these guys are like fringe 7th rounders. Not much to say about them. I've kind of seen enough. I've seen enough to where I'm like probably not that high on him. I think maybe Paul Granton at UCLA probably has the best chance of changing my mind. But yeah, that's about it for it here. That's my list. Those are my lists. That's the offensive line class and how I feel about it. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. Thank you for hanging out with me. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.